let's be honest, confidence is not about being loud, and it's not about being perfect. And it's definitely not about always feeling fearless. True confidence, it's psychological power, and it runs deep. Because here's the truth that nobody tells you. Most people, most women especially, they walk around hoping to be validated. They overshare, they apologize, they seek permission just to exist. But confident women, they're different. They understand the psychology of how humans respond to power, and they use it. So beautiful. Let's get into this episode. I want you to understand that people actually take cues from you. So if you doubt yourself, they do too. Do you know, not many people seem to understand that humans are wired to scan for certainty. It is a survival coping mechanism that we have. We have to have this because in many years gone by, and even like today, but genuinely when things in life were a bit more tough in terms of survival, humans had to know who was the leader. So when someone speaks, acts, or shows up with that undeniable conviction in themselves that some people just have naturally, and by the way, when I say naturally, they are naturally confident in themselves, but they built that, okay? They have taken steps personally to build this. The brain actually instantly assumes that when a person is like that, they must be right, they must be safe, they must be powerful. And you know what? You can watch this and play out in any single media news outlet right now. There are certain people in power in our world. When I say in power, I'm using, again, inverted commas. Are they really in power? It's a pantomime, right? Have a look at the leaders of the UK, the USA, other countries. Oh, they're very confident in themselves and their abilities. They're very confident in things, and people have to choose a leader. I say choose a leader. I'm not going to get political here, but people have to feel like they have a leader. Okay, I have real strong opinions on politics and how it all works and whether or not it is actually what we think it is. If you're interested to know more, you can let me know in the comments. This is not going to be the episode for that, and I think it would blow your mind, to be quite honest, if I told you what I really thought about politics, democracy, and some people I know wouldn't be too happy about it either. But anyway, I'm not going down that rabbit hole. But essentially, there are people running our world today that are full of it. They are absolutely full of confidence, bravado, self-belief. But does that actually have substance? Well, we'll see. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But that's how energy works. That's how confident energy works. Confident energy bypasses logic, and it goes straight to the subconscious hierarchy that we all operate in. So if you want to be treated with more respect, then start treating yourself like a woman who expects it, without over-explaining or without shrinking. I was the biggest over-explainer you have ever met, let me tell you. Why? Because I was trained that you have to explain yourself if you don't do things the way everyone expects you to do them. That if you make a different choice from what you're expected or from what you've been told to do, you need to explain yourself. Why did you do that? And you're like, well, this is why. Because you feel like you want to justify yourself and show that actually you're doing the right thing by you. You even may have facts and logic to back it up. But when you're used to doing that, it puts you into an over-explaining mode for your whole life. But you don't owe anybody an explanation for anything you do. You don't need to shrink for anything. You wouldn't believe the amount of people who just accept what other people tell them because they have this attitude or this manner that oh, no, that's wrong. Next thing you know, these people are doubting themselves. But people take cues from you. So if you're somebody who has the personal power and believes in it, they're going to believe in you too. If you doubt yourself, if you're not really sure about why you believe in certain things, and that's a good point as well, you need to believe in yourself and you need to know why you do. People are going to doubt you too. It all comes from within. Now, moving on from that. Confident people don't just rush to fill every gap with an explanation. Because silence is way better, is way greater than justification. When you're somebody who has personal power, who believes in themselves, who is confident, you're comfortable letting others sit in uncertainty. And not in a rude way, but because you're not trying to prove your worth. You already believe in your worth. If you want instant power in any situation, practice saying less. And if you want to know some easy ways that you can implement this, the next time you're disrespected by someone, feel in your heart that energy, that personal power you have. Let it be amplified, let it grow, let you feel powerful, and literally say nothing. Say nothing. Or respond simply if a response was required from you. Respond simply and end it there. Let your presence speak before your words ever do. That's how you get instant power in any situation. It's the attitude that, even if, believe me, I've been in some highly volatile situations before. If you are in a highly volatile situation and you are being required to justify something, you need to question yourself. Just think in your mind, why am I was, in fact, funnily enough, I was actually telling my daughter this today. She was saying to me about something, she's like, oh, I don't really want to participate in this particular thing on my own. And I'm like, okay, well, don't then. I'm like, you could, because you're an amazing performer and blah, 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 but if you don't want to, just don't do it. And okay, that might go against the grain of what you believe, but my child's a confident young lady. I brought her up to be so. And so I was like, well, don't. And she said, but what if they make me? What if they say I have to? And like, no one can make you do anything you don't want to do. Unless it's tidying your room, of course. Joke. No, I was like, you don't need to do anything you don't want to do. Genuinely. You're a human being. You've got to be sensible and you've got to realise, yeah, some things I do have to do. Sometimes it's really in my benefit to do. But if it's just something that's supposed to be fun and I don't feel like I'll be having fun, if I give it a try and I'm not really into it and I would rather do this instead and it doesn't detract from what else is going on, what else is going on, and if you don't feel like doing it. Here's another example, and I will finish my sentence before I go on. If it doesn't cause any problems for anybody else, and if you're happy to just go with the flow and go along with whatever, but you just don't want to do that, that's no problem. If you're going to have more fun doing the other thing, then the whole point is to have fun, so do that. Don't and she said, but what am I going to say? And you just say, I don't want to go into the details, but you just say, actually, I'm just going to watch for this one, thank you. And what if they ask me again? We just say, I'm actually just going to watch for this one, thank you. Thank you for asking. And she's like, but what if they ask, tell me I have to? Tell them to call your mama. She'll tell you, she'll say the same thing, it's all about having fun. It's the same, like, and I don't want to go through and on, but we need to actually teach our children that. And this is controversial. There could be someone in the comments named Karen that might say, you should be teaching your children that your child that she should be going along with everyone else, shouldn't inconvenience others, she shouldn't do that. No, she shouldn't inconvenience others, but if she's not inconveniencing anybody, and she doesn't actually want to do something, and she'd rather do something else that doesn't hurt anyone, everyone's happy. Why does she have to? You see, like, there's really different opinions on this, but that's fine. So you don't need to justify anything to anyone, but we are training our next generation. They have to explain themselves if they don't want to do something. I mean, do you really blame them? My child goes to an incredible school, but you still have to ask to go to the toilet. I mean, what? Like, that's a basic human need. I don't want to go off on a tangent here, but that's the way it is. You have to put your hand up to go to the toilet. If you're hungry, you have to wait. You have to wait for this and go for lunchtime and all this. And yeah, it's good to have structure and routine. Absolutely it is. And I really believe in that. But we are essentially training our next generation that they are an autonomous person, but actually they have to do what they are told. So it goes without saying, people are having from a very young age to explain themselves, and they feel like they need to explain to everybody else. The truth is, you're a powerful person. Some things that you might want to do in life are going to inconvenience some people or make them feel awkward or less than happy about something. But it's really not up to you to to soothe everyone else around about you. It's your life, and you've got to understand that if you're going to be serving everybody else for your whole life and always putting yourself last, you're never going to get anywhere. And what you're actually going to do is you're going to train your next generation and your family to do exactly the same thing. So essentially, you're going to have a whole, just think about it, if this happened generation after generation, you're going to have a whole gene pool of people who basically go along with what everyone else wants and don't actually ever get to define or discover their personal purpose and live it and make the difference that they were born to make in life. Because you're not following your intuition then. So always silence over justification. You need to actually just have the mindset, and this is hard if you've been trained otherwise, but you just have to have the mindset, I'm not arguing on this. It doesn't interest me. It's not in my interest at all to invest my valuable energy arguing with somebody who, a lot of the time, people that want to argue rather than have a conversation, they don't respond to logic anyway, because the argument is never actually about solving the problem or coming to a solution. It's actually about trying to create drama. Have you ever noticed that? Let me know in the comments. Have you ever noticed that when you have a confrontation, have you not realized that you're never going to come to a consensus? Never. Because the people that are in the mindset of argument versus conversation, they don't want the happy ending, the logical thing. They're looking for the drama. They want to paint you in some sort of narrative that serves them. So with that, don't give away your power. Just believe it. I don't want to take part in this conversation, and I don't need to either. Okay, finally, point 3. If you control your energy, you control the room. And when I say control, I'm not talking about being a control freak, but I mean self-control. This is something that women can find tremendously challenging because we're very intuitive and we're very spirited. But dark feminine confidence, it's not loud. Let me tell you something, the loudest people that I know, the loudest people that you probably see, you don't see what goes on in their lives in the background. You don't see their insecurities. And quite often the loudest people in the room can be the most insecure in other ways, believe it or not. Because dark feminine confidence isn't loud. It's controlled. It's precise. And it's calm. And that calm presence it really makes people lean in. It makes people like look at you with awe because it signals authority, power, and depth. It signals that you're actually a master of going with the flow. You're a master of overcoming challenges. And you're not fazed by anything that's going to happen in your life. Because the world reacts to how you carry yourself. So if you want to attract better clients, better partners, better friends, better respect, then all you need to do is shift how you show up first. And that's not with force, that's with embodiment. Okay? That's the balance that we need to find here. You don't need to be more liked. You need to be more certain in yourself. Because the world doesn't respond to your qualifications. It responds to your energy. So, if you are done overthinking, shrinking, waiting to be ready, and you want to walk into rooms, meetings, relationships, or interviews like the woman who gets chosen, then you're ready. You're ready for the spark activation. Now, you'll find all the details in the description box below, but the spark activation is your private, powerful, deep dive into the one shift you need to make right now to go from overthinking to undeniably magnetic. People will treat you how you treat yourself. So let's make sure that your presence speaks before you do. And you're not going to believe how simple that can be. So I'm going to end this video by asking you to like the video, leave me a comment with your thoughts, and make sure you're subscribed because my next video is going to be absolutely mind-blowing. Now, I'm going to get into some dark psychology in the next episode. I'm going to be discussing projection and intimidation because these are very, very real dynamics in situations where you are a very high value woman and you need to know how to respond to this. You need to know how to manage these certain dynamics, because if you're experiencing people feeling threatened by you, you may not even know this is happening around about you, but if you're experiencing that, it means that you're a very powerful person who the universe is giving you some trials and tests and opportunities to prove that you're ready to level up and move into the next level. And until you do that, you'll stay where you are because you will simply not be ready for everything that's coming at you. But you're going to become an insanely powerful person when you listen to the episode. It's going to mean the world to you if you are looking to do big things, especially in your social life or in your career. It's going to be massive for you. So make sure that you're subscribed and you're ready for that one. But until then, make sure that you've liked, make sure you've left your comment, and I will see you in the next episode. They're talking about you because they're threatened. I'm going into the dark psychology of an intimidation and projection, and I'll see you there, or in spark activation. So have an amazing day, and I'll see you there.